everybody. We've got some good news, Pete and I, about the koala. You remember we talked about the koala that Pete rescued, or the koala rescue people came up and got down from the tree? Pete and I feel like father and grandfather or something, I don't know. What's the good news, Pete?
Well, she's getting on well.
She's getting on well. Healing?
She's putting on weight.
Yes.
And she's pregnant.
Right. So we are grandparents. All right, that'll be lovely.
Yes.
And what happens when she's totally well? She comes back to the...
Yes, back to her environment.
To her environment, and runs up the same tree, and she'll be home.
I'm looking forward to taking photos of her and the baby.
Yeah. I wonder where the father is.
Oh, they just wander off. They're not...
They wander off.
I think he's the one I photographed on the ground.
You should go and have a talk to him.
I own up to your responsibility.
Exactly. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, that's good news. That's good news. But they are a terribly fragile, endangered creature in the metropolitan area. And, you know, when I came up here, this certainly wasn't metropolitan, but it's become metropolitan, and the cars speed up here and speed down there. Poor koalas, I'm sure, don't know what the hell is happening. Most of the time, I don't know what the hell is happening. But that's life. Before we get into the stuff of the day, ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday or happy wedding anniversary. If it's a day of celebration, may it be a really good one. Prince Harry claims in one interview, it was published in Newsweek, he claims that no one in the UK royal family ever wants to be king or queen. I think he and... I won't go there, but... I think that smacks of insincerity somehow. Meghan, can you imagine if Meghan was the queen? She'd fall over herself, wouldn't she? Gosh. Meaning no disrespect, of course. June 22. Oh, the first ring donut. Created by Hanson Gregory. The first ring donut. I guess that's how you make the donut, isn't it? So he patented that back in 1847. Wow, on this day. Chris Christopherson, Pete and I love Chris Christopherson, American country singer and songwriter. Me and Bobby McGee helped me make it through the night. He was in Star is Born and a few not terribly great movies. I think Star is Born, we won't go there. Great movie, but certainly didn't survived the remake terribly well, I don't think. But he was a great, great songwriter. 1936 he was born on this day. It's a wonderful story. One of the songs that he wrote, and he wrote it for Johnny Cash, and it was called Sunday Morning Coming Down. And many of the songs that he writes, and that many of the songs he sang, were very autobiographical, about the hard times, you know, walking the street with you know, not a dime in his pocket, holes in his shoes, all of that sort of stuff. And he knew he was good. His songs were wonderful, but he just couldn't get past the 12-year-old in the reception area, whose sole job, it would seem, in show business is to keep talented people out. I don't understand that either. But anyway, he decided that Johnny Cash, if Johnny Cash could hear this song, his troubles would be over. And he was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force before he gave it all away. In fact, he wrote a song called, you know, Throwing It Away for a Song. And he did. He threw it away. And he wrote this song and couldn't get to Johnny Cash. So he hired a helicopter and he landed it on John Cash's front yard. And John Cash was so impressed with the guy's tenacity and belief in this song that when he saw it, he liked it, he sang it, he loved it, and the world loved it. And that was history, because if Johnny Cash sang one of your songs, you were away. Why don't you, John's gone, who would you like to sing one of your songs?
Emmylou Harris.
Emmylou Harris. Yes, isn't she wonderful?
Yeah, I'd hire a helicopter and land on her, wouldn't that?
Yeah. Yes, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. The great David O. Selznick, the American Academy Award-winning producer, Gone with the Wind, Rebecca, and Dragonwyck was another one of his movies. Dragonwyck. He dies of a heart attack in 1965. He was 63 years old, only 63. Galileo, 1833, recants his heresy. He apparently said that the world was orbiting the sun, and it was with odds, or at odds with the Bible and church teachings. The Vatican apologizes in October of 1992 as to how it handled the case. Well, they just stripped all your flesh and hung you out a hook, didn't they, if you were a heretic? Anyway, that was in, did I say 18? I meant 16. My eyes are not good. 1633, Galileo. Judy Garland, American actress and Wizard of Oz. Meet Me in St. Louis, Easter Parade, Over the Rainbow, of course. Dies at just 47 years old. The coroner determines that her cause was, drug abuse and overdose and God knows what. 1969, that was. Florida passes a law on this day prohibiting the wearing of thong bathing suits. With a thong in my heart. No. No thongs on the beaches of Florida. 1990. They must be uncomfortable. If you're a woman, that'd be hellishly uncomfortable, wouldn't it, Pete? We don't have any experience in these things, no. But apparently they have some sort of innate attractiveness which overrules everything else. Meryl Streep, American actress, French lieutenant's woman. Sophie's Choice, great actress. The only thing she did that I didn't think was terribly great was playing Lindy Chamberlain. A baby's got my... No, a dingo's got my baby, whatever it was. She's really good with accents, but not the Australian one, I'm afraid. 1949 was the year. Operation Barbarossa, Nazi Germany and its allies invade the Soviet Union in World War II, the largest military operation in history. 1941, that didn't work out so well, but before him, Hitler, Napoleon didn't have a lot of luck doing that same sort of thing. The pin manufacturing machine was patented by a fellow called John Howe in 1832. No pins before this day, apparently. Fred Astaire, American stage and screen, tap dancer, singer, night and day, cheek to cheek, let's call the whole thing off. Actor, Easter Parade, Swing Time, dies of pneumonia at 88 on this day in 1987. Cyndi Lauper, American singer, girls just want to have fun. Time after time, born New York City, 1953. Charles and Diana, Prince of Wales and Princess of Wales, take their first newborn son, Prince William, home from the hospital on this day, St Mary's Hospital it was, 1982. How much time have I got left, Pete?
Well, minus 4 minutes.
Oh, minus 4 minutes. All right, okay. All right, let me see what I've missed. I hate to miss things, I really do. Walt Disney's animated Lady and the Tramp came out in 1955. Oh, just one more. Just one more. 1943. 617 Squadron. The Dam Busters Squadron. The entire, what was left of them after the raid, the Dam Buster raid, attend the investiture at Buckingham Palace of Commanding Officer Guy Gibson when he was awarded his much-deserved VC, his Victoria Cross. 1943 was the year. Anyway, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton's behind the camera. And every day we sort of remember some of the events of the day and talk about some of the issues of the day. Today, by the way, is the winter solstice. Shortest day of the year. And it's a little chilly in the garage, I must tell you. The Oscars of aviation are out. And Qantas plummeted in the worldwide rankings of airlines. Not even the best in the Asia Pacific. It was Qatar Airlines, it's now Singapore Airlines. And in the Pacific, number one is Fiji Airways. Poor old Qantas. From number 1 to number 17. That should be a wake-up call for someone. The stock market's doing reasonably well. The barometer of the world economy seems to be relaxed and comfortable with what's going on. Don't much matter as long as it keeps chugging along, I suppose. Oh, here's something worth noting. Fantales. Pete, did you ever buy a packet of Fantales?
We all, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, certainly.
Fantales, the sweet, the confectionery, synonymous with going to the movies, good times, show business, stories, all on the wrapping, all the little biographies, little tidbits, will not be made after July. This is after 93 years. 93 years. Either people don't buy Fantales or they don't go to the movies. I don't know. I think I'm glad I'm the age I am. Pete, we've seen the best of it.
I believe we have, yes.
I think we have. For years they've been telling us of the great benefits of taking aspirin. I remember doing shows way back in the 1980s about the benefits of aspirin, referred to many times by many people in the know as a miracle drug, usually taken to ward off stroke and heart attack, but some people talk about it as being helpful for things like keeping cancer at bay. Well, the news story yesterday, or warning I suppose, that it shouldn't be taken by people over 70. Now, I don't know what to believe. If you're taking aspirin, as I am, just don't do anything without talking to your doctor. You shouldn't get your medical advice from the media. Now, I'll have to check up on this and make sure that it's right, but according to this information, on Tuesday night, this immediate past Tuesday night, not a single free hospital bed across the entire South Australian health system. Not one single free bed, available bed. The 8th time that this has occurred this month. In emergency, people were waiting 7.9 hours to be seen. Now, this is third world stuff, for which, of course, the government must be held responsible. Need I remind you that they came to power promising to fix these problems? Not a single peep out of the ambulance union. Do you remember how critical and vocal and effective they were leading up to the last election. They had their hearts set on throwing the Liberals out because they clearly, firmly believed and advocated for a Labor government, but not a word out of them as things get worse. I really wish people would be consistent. Consistent. Retail sales seem to be in a lot of trouble. I told you about the problems David Jones was having. Now, don't ask me why. It can't all be because of online shopping. Have we so drastically changed our shopping and buying habits as consumers? I don't know. I mean, I don't do a lot of online shopping. Shopping was an event. Well, for me, it still is. A novelty, in fact. Not enough green energy, I heard the other night. Not enough green energy to replace coal-fired power stations. We urgently need new investment, the guy said. Well, good luck. Australia contributes less than 1.3% to global emissions. And we're going through all this financial pain for absolutely nothing. Thank you, Albo. Terrific. Well done. Well done. Aboriginals, this I find very disturbing. Aboriginals are the most incarcerated people in the world. Disturbing and hard to believe, but there it is. And that has nothing to do with a voice or talk or conversation. It has a lot to do with crime. But when you dig into it, you find Aboriginals are 18% more likely to end up in jail. Could that be, and I've heard all sorts of excuses and theories, but could that be because they are 18% more likely to break the law? Nothing to do with colour. Half of all juveniles in prison, half of all juveniles in prison are Aboriginals. In major cities, 1% of the population can't possibly represent 50% of the prison population. Can't. Sack the black bureaucracy. All that money, where does it go? The Premier was in the media talking about preventing this tragedy. But he's tackling it from the wrong direction, the wrong end. We must deal with this before the arrest and the court appearance and the sentencing. We provide enough money to make each of these people relatively very wealthy. And as I've said to you before many times, the problem is they, of course, never see the money. For the government not to know this, to not join the dots, is unbelievable. For the black community to merely accept it is terrible. Must be someone out there who can join the dots, for God's sake. Is it just me, or when I sit down to watch television and I flick through, I don't know, I think it's about 35 channels. There's nothing of any interest to watch. What do you reckon, Pete?
Oh, I agree with you, except the cricket, of course.
Oh, the cricket, yeah, well, I skipped by that. But I can't understand how there could be so much choice and nothing to watch. How could this wonderful creative industry, this entertainment facility, this magic box in the room be such a disappointment? That's about when I turn on the radio, or I go to YouTube. YouTube, which I really think is probably the best television channel in the world. It's fantastic. But there's something wrong with mainstream television when you see the number of people switching off, who switch off. Maybe I could leave you with this story about Nauru. Nauru is to see its last asylum seeker. The last asylum seekers moved to Australia. Now, the government won't close the offshore processing facility, even though it'll cost $350 million a year with no one there to detain. Now that's money that they could put into inspecting more containers. We were talking about the fact that much of our drug and illegal weapon problem in Australia is because we only inspect 10% of the containers that come into Australia. And the reason we don't inspect more is, of course, we can't afford to. Well, here's some money for you. The real question is why, however, will it cost $350 million to run an offshore processing facility with no one in it? Everything the government touches costs a fortune. Well, let me rephrase that. Costs us a fortune. Why? Are they dumb? Don't nod. It's very off-putting, isn't it? Anyway, thanks so much for viewing the Court of Public Opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, Pete and I will be back tomorrow. Thank you very much. Believe in yourself, and goodbye for now.